Hi everybody, this is David Marsh with eminitradingstrategies.com. Today's April 1st, 2014, and we're looking at the 6E market. We just launched our EuroFX trader, so we decided to do 2 or 3 or 4 days of just recording the actual trade so you can see just how simple it is to do this. All you do is really, which I've done, I've applied a strategy to the chart. I've got the entries turned on and everything's all ready to go. Now, if you want to see more about how to install and how to use all these buttons and how to set your ATMs, just go to our website. We've already got a website with 4 or 5 other videos that show you that. So I'm not going to cover all that in these videos. I'm just going to simply show you the trades. I'm just going to record it live and let you see what it's really doing. Okay. So now we have a report today at 9:45. So I don't know if we'll have trades. I don't know what we're going to get because this is recorded live. I don't know what time we're going to get a trade. I don't know how the trades are going to resolve themselves, whether they're going to be winners, losers. So therefore, I don't know how long it's going to take. So my point is I'm going to have to pause periodically because I can't have an hour-long video. If it takes an hour and a half or an hour to get 2 trades done, it's going to be really hard to upload all that video content, and you'll just be staring at bars forming and me talking for an hour. And quite frankly, who wants to hear me talk for an hour? So, but basically, it's real simple. You just apply it to a chart. We trade the 6E starting at 8:20. That's when it opens up. Unless there's a report. If there's a report at 8:30, then we start after the report comes out. And we've had a couple questions about that. Well, how do we know what time to start after the report? Well, it's real simple. When a report hits the market, in other words, when a report comes out, the market either reacts to it or it doesn't. So, best way to explain it is, let's say you're looking at the bars and the bars are just plodding along, market's moving, a report comes out, and you don't even realize the report came out because the market's just doing what it's been doing, which is hardly anything, or it's just in the same motion, the same general volatility, if you will, is what it's been doing. Then there's no reaction to that report. You can just start trading. But if you see a report come out and all of a sudden your bars start moving 10 times as fast and are spiking, well, let it settle back down. On average, it takes 1 or 2 minutes. Now, we've seen it sometimes with the 6E go 10, 15 minutes, where you've just got to sit there because the market gets so volatile that you have to sit back and let it settle down. That used to happen with us on the S&P when FOMC would get released at 2:15 in the morning. I'm sorry, 2:15 in the afternoon. We would be, the way we'd do it is the first hour of the day we'd trade the S&P and hopefully we made our profit and we're done for the day. But if we weren't able to make our profit within the first hour or the first hour and a half, whatever it may be, we come back at 2:15, wait for the FOMC to come out, and once the report came out or the minutes release, whatever it is, we look for the reaction. Well, there's almost always a reaction. Well, I've seen it go where the reaction is 30, 40 minutes, where it's so volatile and so crazy that we just sit on our hands, let that settle down. And once it starts settling down, and you'll know it by just looking at your charts, then you're ready to start taking a trade again. So, in any event, we're already 4 minutes into this video. This video is all about letting you see live trades, not about me blabbling. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll just sit here until we get our first trade. So I'll be back here shortly. All right, we're back. We've got our first short entry. It's about 8:50 in the morning, 13805. So now let me talk about the cancel rule. Let me tell you how that affects, because again, I don't know what's going to happen. Let's say our fill price gets touched. So in other words, the market goes to 13805, but we do not get filled. If it goes down to its first profit target, in this case, which would be 4 ticks, 801, we would then cancel the order. In other words, the trade won. It would have won. We just didn't get filled on it. Now, if that were to happen, that will still count as trade number 1. So remember, we trade 2 trades a day, but sometimes we trade less because, again, if the first trade doesn't fill or the second trade doesn't fill, it still counts. So in other words, if this one doesn't fill, we don't move on to a third. That one counts as number one. We just wait for the second. Very important. But remember, we're simply teaching you what works for us. And let me tell you how that is. If you look at our blog, we show the last 8 months of our results on the 6E. And doing it this way, those first two trades, with the reports we discussed and with the cancel rule, which we just talked about, those results are showing a very nice gain in our trading accounts. Before we released ETS EuroFX Trader, we have had students trading it with our auto trader software, which is similar to this, and they're having the same results as we are, and they're very happy with those results. But at the end of the day, again, we're showing you what works for us. You have complete control over this. It's your decision how far you want to go with this. If you say, well, you know what, I want to go for 4 trades a day or 5 trades a day, there's nothing wrong with that. That's your choice, and we don't limit you. And that's what's such a good thing about this software program is that we don't lock you out of it after the second trade is done. We don't shut it down on you and say sorry for you. No, you do it however you want. We understand that your objectives and may be different from ours, right? You may be a little more aggressive than we are, and that's okay. That's your choice. So we leave it completely unlocked, and you can do it however you want. We just like to show you how we're doing it. We don't see a reason to change because month after month, month after month, our accounts are going up. And at the end of the day, this is what this is all about. And on average, we're done an hour, hour and a half per day. Sometimes a little longer, sometimes a lot quicker. But on average, we're only working 5, 6, 7 hours a week doing this, so it's not too shabby. But really quick, let me talk about contract size and let me talk about margin. A lot of day trading firms out there give you great margin rates, 500 to 1 or 600 to 1 or 400 to 1. So for every $500 you have, you can trade a contract, and that's great. I personally don't like to use that much leverage. Leverage is a great thing, but it can hurt you as well, because you may see 3 or 4 losing days in a row. Now, truth be told, we haven't seen that the way we trade it, but maybe you want to trade it differently. Maybe you want to trade all day long, right? You may have some losing days. And the point is, you don't want to have a couple bad days really put a chunk out of your trading account money. That doesn't work for me. So personally, and I get this question all the time, if I had a $5,000 account, would I trade three contracts on the 6E system? And the answer is yes, I would. But that's maximum. 3 contracts on a 5. Now this is my own personal number. You've got to decide, talking with your financial people or CPA, with whoever you go to, and decide what's the right contract size for you. Okay. But basically, if I had a $10,000 account, I would trade no more than 6 contracts. Now, we like multiples of 3, so we have 3 different targets set up. We have our first target set for 4 ticks, our second target set for 6 ticks, and our third target set for 0. In other words, it doesn't have a max gain. It just keeps on going, and the trailing stop follows behind it, and eventually it gets stopped out by the trailing stop. You don't have to do it like that either. You can trade just 1 contract, or 1 target, 1 stop, or 2 targets, however you really want to do it. We're very happy with what works for us, and we're very happy to share that with you. But as far as, one more question I get, we're going to have to pause here in a minute because this trade still hasn't filled. It's down tick to 13,804. And that is, how much money should I start trading with? And that's just such a loaded question that I can't answer. I don't know your finances. I don't know where you're at. And it's really a question that's best answered by your own financial people, right? If you're in a position in your life that, you got all your bills are paid and you got money in the bank and college funds taken care of and you've got risk capital out there, then I'm sure your advisors will say, yeah, you can go ahead and do something like this. But again, we don't give any recommendations or tell you how much money you should put into this because we just simply don't know your own story, and we're not financial advisors, so really we can't. Again, we just like to share what works for us and tell you what our guidelines are, and then you can discuss that with your own people. So I say that because we do get those questions a lot. A lot of people are not really sure. And unfortunately we can't give you guidance on that aspect of it. But in any event, looks like I'm going to have to pause because we're already 10 minutes in this video and we're not filled. So I'm going to pause for a little bit. We'll come back after we get filled. Okay, we are filled at 13804. Now, I'm going to pull up another chart here in a second, but let me tell you, when you apply a strategy to the NinjaTrader 7 platform, you do not see the actual entry markers on your chart. I don't know why that is. That's something NinjaTrader does. We have no control over that. So if you want to actually see the entries, like like you probably do, you just pull up a second chart. So let me get this turned on. Here we go. So here's a second 6E chart. So, and you can see the entries that I have over here. Just again, the strategy chart, it will not plot these entry prices for you. They just don't. You have to pull up a second chart if you want to see them. So I'll leave that up so you can actually see that this is a real trade and it really did fill. So, but I'm going to pause one more time. This market's really moving slow. We got a report at 9:45. It's only just about 9 o'clock. So I'm going to pause for a couple minutes, maybe 3 minutes, however long it takes. Let this trade start moving to either the good side or the bad side because I don't want to make this a half-hour long video. So we'll be back in a bit. All right, we're back. Markets. All right, we just got filled on our first target. So good stuff there. Hopefully this market will keep moving down. And again, we've got three different targets here. First target's for 4 ticks, second's for 6 ticks, and the third is at 0. Um, it's sometimes it doesn't work out really good. Sometimes it may, because now our stop loss comes way down to the entry position. So if the market comes right back up, we'll get stopped out of the other two contracts or the other two sets of contracts, depending on how many contracts you're trading. Back at the entry price, which is 13804. And that may happen. Well, it also may not happen. But we find that using multiple contracts works real nice because it locks profit in with a small move. And if it turns into a big move, we're able to capture the profits on. Look at that. Second contract filled at 798. And now the third one, again, there is no max profit. It will just keep on going and going and going and going. As long as the market moves down, our profit will just keep on getting bigger and bigger. Our trailing stop will keep stepping down tick for tick for tick, and eventually the market will bounce back up and it will stop us out. And we can get some really nice trades, 8, 10, 12 ticks, like something like this that may be happening. If this keeps moving down, we're gonna make a lot of money on this trade. But if it bounces back up, we'll just get stopped out at our next target price here, which of course will be 799, I believe, because it's always going to stay 4 ticks above the lowest point of the trade. So, all right, well, let's see if this trade resolves itself here in a minute or two, because we're going to have to start moving on to our next trade. And I'm going to try to do this in just one video per day. So. All right, we're out right there. So we've made we got 4 ticks, 5 ticks, and it looks like 6 ticks there. So not a bad little trade up. Yeah, a couple $100 per 3 contracts. So if you're trading a $10,000 account and you got 6 contracts, you're up just about $400. Not too bad of a morning. And we still have one more trade to go. So let's go ahead and pause, and we'll come back during our next trade. All right, we are back. Almost forgot to turn the recorder back on. It's just about the opening bell for the S&P here, but that's okay. We've got a long order in at 13,803. We got a report 15 minutes away, so we're good. I want to talk about that again. As far as entering before a report, if it's within 10 minutes of the report time, I'll place the order. But if it starts getting in towards 6-7 minutes, there's no sense. I don't want to get stuck in a trade before a report comes out. So we're good. We still got 15 minutes, so we'll let this order stay live, and see if we can get filled on it. But I'm gonna have to pause again because we're already 15 minutes in this video. So I'm gonna pause and we'll come back when this trade gets filled here. All right, we're long at 13803. Plenty of time before the report, but I wish this market was moving a little bit quicker. And and that's the thing with the 6E. Sometimes it really just moves slow like it is today. Just not a lot of action. Still get some decent trades. We're making money, but just kind of slow. But other days you will really see it pick up. But with it being so slow, I'm probably just going to try to take one or two ticks. Oh, well, we make it stopped out. If we hit what 97, we're going to get stopped out. It's not going to matter anyways. But either way, when this trade's over, we're done for the day. The 6E is over. We don't based on the way we do it, we're done for the day with it. So, but still 934. I'm just going to take my targets to my first two targets to two ticks. Remember, my third target is set for 0, so there's not an actual uh, max profit on that. So I'm just going to keep it at 2 ticks for the time being. And I may have to take it to break even. Here's my thing. If it gets close to report time, like for example, let's say it were 940 right now. It's close to report time. I would just take the small loss. What am I down 3 or 4 ticks? I would just close it because I will not be in a trade before a report. All right. So we didn't make a mistake. We took the trade. There was still 15 minutes, but again, it's just really moving slow. And if it takes too much longer, we'll have to close it out. So I decided just to pull my profits down to 2 ticks. May take it down to 1 tick. May take it to break even. We'll have to see how quick this market moves. So, but let's go ahead and pause for a couple seconds. Let this trade resolve itself, and then we'll come back. All right, I'm back. It's after 9:37. I just got filled on my 2 ticks. Yeah, it might have been a little early, but you know what? With 7-8 minutes before the report, I'm happy getting out of this trade. In fact, I'll go another minute, and I'm going to have to close out the third set of contracts as well. So I've got about 1 tick profit right now on my last set, but we'll see if this market wants to move a little bit more. But plus, truth be told, I'm anxious to get over to the S&P as well. So, yeah, it's just about 9:30. I'm just going to close this out, guys. I'm just going to hit close, hit the market order button. I just got out even on it. It looks like, yeah, out even. And I'm happy with that. It's, again, getting close to report times. I'm just going to take the money and run. So I'm up, what, $225 for every 3 contracts. So if I was trading with a $10,000 account, up $450, right? If you're trading with a $20,000 account, assuming you're using the leverage that we're talking about, you're up, nine hundred bucks. Not too shabby, guys. And this is all we do. It's simple. You apply it to a chart. You turn it off for a report. You turn it off when, in fact, I needed to go ahead. Well, oh, because I closed it out, I just lost my strategy. Okay. Yeah, here's what happened, guys. You'll notice that the strategy came off my chart. That's because I hit the close button over on my dome. When I did that, it closed out my whole strategy. The correct thing to do was to come over here where those buttons were and close it there. But that's okay because I was done trading anyways with the second trade. But so I'll just have to reconfigure my charts for tomorrow. But really, again, that's all you do. You place 2 trades, you turn it off, you turn it on. Your hardest job is, making sure you check Forex Factory, looking at the report times, and making sure you're not into a trade before a report. That's all you have to do. So that's it for the first day. We'll come back and we're going to do it again tomorrow, but I believe the day after next there's an ECB conference, and our personal rules, again, are we're not going to trade when there's an ECB day. When the whole day is ECB stuff, it's probably going to make the euro really crazy. We just don't want any part of it. And of course, we tell our guys that too. But at the end of the day, it's up to them what they're going to do. But let's wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.